Yo, Eric, we saw this fat bald guy on. I don't know, Nick. Did you see that guy on the seat? You know where Kyle's class is, where you do Kyle's class?
Yeah.
You know how there's like that bench area, like right outside, or the seating area?
Yeah.
Right like it literally looked like a homeless guy was just chilling out on the seating area.
Oh, I've definitely seen some like homeless people like just waltzing around the school before.
Welcome to the Going Yard podcast. Ross Atkins was asleep the whole free agency.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Sending Teo to Seattle.
Tragedy that was the AL wildcard series being swept.
It was 8-1.
That haunted us for a long time. People were like, they're going to make the World Series. This team needs to improve on the pitching aspect of things. You could go into the American education system and talk about that shit for hours, but we're here to talk about baseball.
Yeah.
No doubt about it!
Anyways, welcome back to the Going Yard podcast. You know, we got Mo, we got Eric here. Anyways, but before we get into that, the signings and, just Anthony Recker being a fucking dumbass. We got something to address. I don't know if you guys know this, if you saw it on social media or not. You may have, but it is Thick Jesus Alejandro Kirk's birthday today.
Yes, sir. I saw
huge.
that.
That is huge. The best fucking Jays catcher we've ever had.
The best?
Have you seen his little legs run? And his walk-up song? Best walk-up song.
I'm shocked you can see legs when he's running because it's just all stomach. He looks like a snowman rolling the first baseman. That's the beauty part of it.
Right, he's the poster boy for athletes everywhere. Come on.
I mean, it's just a vibe.
I'm not hating, man. He's again, like Eric said, he's the poster boy for athletes everywhere, non-athletes.
Anyways, let's just go around table here. Eric, how's it going, man?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Just, the vibes are up. Going into a good weekend. Alejandro Kirk's birthday. Oh, we're buzzing. Mo, what about you?
Hey, yo, it's great to be back for another edition of Going Yard. I'm doing well because I've upgraded my position to Bat Boy.
Guys, my God.
I've learned the fine art of choking up. So balls are going to be flying this episode.
Balls are fucking flying, that's for sure. So, as you guys know, Chad Green, what are we feeling, man? Honestly, I'm liking it because a lot of people are saying, I was talking to a lot of guys, someone in our class specifically, I won't name names, but I think you guys know who. His take was that, the guy's injured right now, coming off of
Tommy John.
Yeah. And they're saying, he might not pitch till July or August. But, if we're in a good position by that time and, you need that, vet kind of. And, if he's still throwing how he did this past season, I honestly think it's a good pickup.
Yeah. And it's 2 years, $8.5 million. Ultimately, it's a reliever. And he throws, plus velo, he's upper 90s, which we talked about this in our last episode. Is what we wanted. It was a relief pitcher who's throwing upper 90s. So, obviously there's guys who come back not the same from Tommy John. There's guys who come back even better after Tommy John. So
a lot of people are saying they're scared that this might be a Kirby Yates situation. Remember?
Nah, think of it as trade deadline acquisition, if you will.
That's what I was thinking.
Kirby Yates, that was a freak accident too. We had no idea that he wasn't ever going to play for us.
Yeah.
But in this case, I think the Jays did their due diligence and, they know the risk. It's a low risk move. If he doesn't pitch well, to cut him loose. It's actually a 3-year deal, and the way it's set up is really strange. There's option years on both sides, so he could be here for 3, he could be here for 1. But I think I think it's a pretty good move. It's a pretty smart move from the head office, and you guys know how I feel about them, so I'm giving them kudos for the first time.
Hey man, I think we all feel the same way about the head office.
Yeah,
and their decisions they make. Now, do you think Atkins was cooking this offseason, or do you think it was still a mid offseason?
No, it's still just very average, I'd say.
C plus maybe.
Yeah.
See, like,
and we didn't go over this in our last episode. We posted it after this signing, but we had recorded it before. It was the Brandon Belt signing. What was it? One year, 9.3 million, I think.
9.3, yep.
Yeah.
Like, no. I just extremely unnecessary in my opinion. I really like Brandon Belt. Obviously, this guy's been to the World Series multiple times and he's had good years. But to sign a guy who will probably, like, what would you think? He'd play first base some games and Vladdy DHs.
I think that was the whole point. Because a lot of people were saying, like, where do you even put him, right? And it's kind of like, is he the same bat as before? I
definitely not.
So definitely not, though.
Definitely not.
He just had knee surgery, so it all depends. Do you know what? I'm gonna actually disagree with you guys. I like the move. I like it for a few reasons. Veteran, lefty bat, can play first or DH. They've been talking about maybe left field. I think that's a stretch. I don't think he should play there, but I think it's a great character move. It's a guy who knows how to win. The guy who's been through the ringer. That's what this team needs. We joke around too much. We're too happy-go-lucky. We need to strike fear into other teams. And Brandon Belt is a no-nonsense kind of guy. So I think it's a great move. It was a move that was out of left field, too. I didn't see it coming.
No.
I don't think anybody did. So 9.3, yes, Eric, I agree with you. It's a lot of money for a guy who's coming off a pretty major surgery and a guy who I wouldn't say is the top echelon of free agents.
Yeah.
But I do like the move. I actually think it could work out really well.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good take. I think it's just for me, because I agree in the sense that, he's a veteran. And of course, this guy knows how to win. He's been there and done that. I'm kind of shocked at the fact that he didn't, like, that they wouldn't retire him in San Francisco, because I feel like he's also coming towards the end of his career relatively soon. And maybe, like, that's why it also bothers me, because, again, I'm a guy who grew up really liking the Giants, and I used to watch a lot of Brandon Belt because I played first base when I was still playing. And I think for me, it's just like, I kind of wanted him to retire a Giant as well. And the biggest thing for me is just the fact that it's 1 year for 9.3 million off a guy who, like you said, is coming off of surgery, and a guy who's just not the player that he used to be.
But does he need to be the player he used to be?
No, I don't think so. But for the money that you're signing him for, you would want some. And who knows? He could end up having a great year, but I just think that it's unlikely he's going to be. And he's not meant to be a standout guy, of course not. But
like we've seen like the front office try to make that situation right. Like, remember I was kind of talking about, like, I know they're two different players, but, like, for example, like Joe Panic. You know, they got a vet guy who was, like, in his prime, he was dirty. He was nasty, you know, like a get on base whenever he wants. And, you know, Gold Glover. Right. But then he came to the Jays and just shit the bed, you know. So it's like, that's how I felt originally. I like it, just, you know, a vet guy. And I'm hoping, because he was like the captain of the team of the Giants.
Yeah.
He's one of them.
So it's like, that's a big thing, right? And it's like you have another locker room leader, and they're like, right now I'd probably say our captain. I know we don't officially have one, but I'd probably say like Springer, because he's like the vet on the team. He gets the guys going, and then you got a guy like Vladdy, the young guy, who gets them going. So it's kind of like adding Brandon Belt to that for like vet experience and, you know, just kind of leading the team and whatnot. I like that, but the money and age-wise, it's kind of just concerning, you know?
I don't think the age matters. It's 1 year for a guy who's going to play first or DH. So you're not asking his body to do a whole lot.
Yeah, that I do agree with.
Yeah, I think that's okay. I think it's way better than the trade for Zach Thompson.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was the other move we didn't talk about because it just happened. I think that it's more relevant than Zach Thompson competing for the fifth spot on the team.
He's from the Pirates, right? That was the guy, right? Yeah, we're talking about. Oh yeah, shit. I remember looking at his stats from last year. Man, I don't know, like, what was the point of that?
Flaming garbage.
if I remember correctly, Eric, if you want to search it up while I'm talking about this, because we consider you the stat guy. It was like 5-10 with an ERA of like, I don't know, maybe in the high 6, but it's like, I don't know what you do for that. Like maybe a guy when you're getting blown out.
Yeah, maybe a long reliever. Like his career ERA is 4.44, which is okay. Got 156 strikeouts, 6-17 overall record. Like,
yeah, see, like that's really concerning, you know?
Yeah, his career ERA is 4.44, 6-17 record, 1.398, so almost a 1.4 WHIP.
Yeah.
A 4.44 career ERA isn't horrific.
It's not horrible.
No, but yeah,
like
last season.
Check his last year standing, his stats.
Yeah, check up his
5.18 ERA, 3 record, 1.512 WHIP. Yeah, not good.
Yeah,
with only 90 strikeouts and 121 innings pitched. That's not very good.
No, it's not impressive at all.
You guys, yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to kind of change it up a little bit, unless you wanted to add on to.
I was going to ask you guys, going back to the Belt signing, would you have preferred the Jays to go after an outfielder instead of an infielder?
No.
Yeah, I'd probably say no too.
Because of course they just got Varsho, they got Kiermaier.
But who's the fourth outfielder?
Who do they have? Springer, Varsho, Kiermaier.
So you have either a mix of Merrifield, Biggio, who can play the outfield.
Oh.
I'm not very comfortable with. I want Merrifield to play second.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah,
I want him to play second. I'm not comfortable having Biggio as the fourth outfielder.
I don't feel comfortable with Biggio starting a Major League Baseball game again.
I don't feel comfortable with him being on the team. Like,
yeah. So that was my point.
Yeah.
Brandon, he does do a lot, I think. Lefty bat, veteran presence. Now that we've signed him, do you feel like the outfield, as good as it is, the starting lineup, do you think we're missing that extra outfielder to relieve the other guys? Because I'm looking at some free agents they could have spent money on instead of Belt.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew McCutchen, David Belt,
McCutchen,
Robbie Grossman.
Oh, well, yeah, and like getting a McCutchen would basically be like getting Brandon Belt, but in the outfield, and a right-handed bat, obviously, but still a guy who's like older, past his prime. That is tough, but like they probably just didn't do it because they're thinking of the fact that they have all these guys who can play multiple positions. But I don't know. That actually is a tough call. I don't know if I could even answer that question right now.
Nick, you got anything?
I would have liked McCutchen. It's just about, again, the way I see it with the Jays front office, they're trying to save as much for when, Vladdy and all of them become free agents. By the way, we need to talk about arbitration with Bo. But
God. Well, you can bring that up. Well, but it's only a 1-year deal, so it's not gonna it's gonna come off the books anyways.
Yeah,
they can still sign these guys to long-term deals.
But again, right, it depends on the player. Like, does McCutchen want to be, even though who did he play for last? Was it
Philadelphia?
Yeah, I mean, even though I'm pretty sure he was a bench player, but it's like, does he want to be a bench player here? Remember we were talking last episode?
He's going to be a bench player no matter what.
I know, but like, how we were talking about last episode? Guys don't want to come here, right? So it's like, why would you want to come here to be a bench player?
Brandon Bell came here to be a potential bench player or a platoon.
That's true. That is true. Oh, sorry. McCutchen played for. Was it Philadelphia or was it Milwaukee he played for last year?
It might have been Milwaukee, actually.
No, because he just signed for somebody new, right?
Yeah, I think so. No, but yeah, it's like, end of the day, I would love McCutchen on this team, without a doubt. But then, who knows? Maybe they did try to get him. Maybe they said no, fuck it. Or maybe he said no, right? We don't know. But it's like, where we're the only team in Canada, and it's so hard to get players here. Yeah. Like, we're even trying to get other players. Like, we offered Andrew Heaney more than the Rangers. He still picked the Rangers because, like, he probably said, why would I want to come to Toronto?
Yeah.
Well, there's no income tax there, too.
Yeah, that's true.
It was Milwaukee he played for.
Yeah.
But,
Milwaukee, right?
Yeah, it was Milwaukee. Now, to be fair, I would choose Toronto over Milwaukee any day of the week. Like, who the hell?
Like,
I don't know, man. We'll talk about it later, but Milwaukee's ballpark with the big slide and Bernie, I don't know, man. That's hard to pass up on my end.
But you're in Milwaukee, like
there's tons of cheese, man. Come on, who doesn't like cheese?
Unrelated, but kind of more Jays news. It's not really that crazy, but I don't know if you guys saw Scott Rowland inducted to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He only played 2 seasons in Toronto, yeah. His numbers were very good when he was in Toronto, though. He did play very well here. I think he spent most of his career like St. Louis and Philly, I think
it was Philly and St. Louis. So it was Philly, then he came to Toronto, I believe.
And then St. Louis.
Then St. Louis,
yeah. So I think that's
St. Louis.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. A guy who had impact seasons with the Jays, being inducted in the Hall of Fame. So I thought I would just throw that in there as well.
Yeah, congratulations, Roland. He's rolling.
Yeah.
Anyway, I gotta switch it up because I just noticed this. Mo, I see you got the 2000s.
That's right.
The Dirty Bird.
Hot take, my favorite Jays jersey.
Oh, don't spoil it yet. We're gonna
we'll get to that.
We'll get into it.
We're gonna get there.
Do we want to? Well, obviously talk about the stadium renos as well. So, what are your guys' feeling on this? Because I mainly only have the biggest dimension changes right now, and that's with the left center field wall.
Yeah, that's what I have too.
And the right center field wall. Yeah,
that's the biggest change, literally.
Okay, so yeah, for those listening, the Toronto Blue Jays are obviously renovating the Rogers Center, aka one of the worst stadiums in possibly professional sports in general. And so the left center field wall was 375 feet, which I'd say is pretty standard. You're in a ballpark where there's no wind. It's already a hitter's park, by the way. I thought I should mention that. And they've reduced the left center field wall to 368 feet. And the right center field wall was 375 and is now 359. So, and they're trying to make it seem like they're compensating here by making the wall higher in the outfield.
That's not going to do shit.
It's not going to make that big of a
It's not going to happen.
370, people don't realize that 375 to 359 is a marginal difference.
That's a huge difference.
In a park that weather doesn't affect the flight of the ball. So, I think we might see more home runs hit in the Rogers Center this year than possibly any year. I would maybe put money on that, is that there will be more home runs hit in the Rogers Center this season than maybe any other season that the Jays have been in the MLB.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like, I saw something on TikTok. Someone made a video. They actually like grinded for this video where they got like every highlight from last season that would be a home run this season. And there were so many of them. And it's just like those like fly balls that we got blue ball thinking was going to be a home run. It was just at the warning track. Like those are going to be gone this year.
Yeah.
And I know you were saying like weather doesn't really play a factor in the dome, but like wind kind of does when the dome's open.
Yeah. When the dome's open a little bit, but not, I don't think it'll really be enough to change that much in the effective play.
End of the day, like I still think the Jays are literally going yard this season.
Yeah, of
no
course.
pun intended.
Of course.
But like, I also see it really backfiring on us.
Yeah,
there's going to be a lot of high-scoring games.
Yeah, you already know that the Jays pitching staff is seeing that and are like, okay, we're going to expect our home runs per 9 to go up a little bit this season. But yeah, I don't know, man. The park is gonna look nicer this year for sure. Yeah. But I think that's a very weird change.
This is why I don't want Coochie pitching, because look at all those balls are gonna fly.
Or Mitch White, yeah.
Or Mitch White or Kikuchi, man.
Or Zach Thompson.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I also did see this post that MLB posted. Again, this isn't like. I want your guys' opinion on this, is that MLB's been doing like FanGraph projections of players this year. And of course, the only Jays player they posted was Vladdy. So people are projecting him to hit 39 home runs this season, 111 RBIs, which they're predicting to be first in the MLB, a 554 slugging, and a 369 OBP. So what do you guys think of these projected numbers for Vladdy, specifically the home runs and the RBIs? Because they have them listed, again, for first in the MLB for RBIs and third in home runs.
Yeah, they're accurate. He should be hitting close to 40 home runs. 111? Is that what it said?
111 RBIs.
Yeah, that all those numbers are about right. He should be the same player he was 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, and I do agree with that. How many did he hit his first season again? Or not his first, his like second season, I guess, technically. It was
like
over
the
40,
MVP
right?
season?
Yeah.
The MVP? Was it
48.
45? Yeah, it was 40. It was 40? Okay.
48. Yeah. So, I mean, they're projecting him to hit 39. And again, we have to consider the park is smaller this season. So,
well, he hit a lot.
I mean, honestly,
he hit a lot of line drives last season in Rogers Center, and those would have been home runs with the new constructed field this season.
Well, now and here, I know I was just saying how the wall wouldn't necessarily make that big of a difference, but because Vladdy is such a big line drive hitter, like his home runs are still going up when they leave the stadium. The way that he hits his home runs, the higher wall could actually affect that. The higher wall, if you're hitting just like pop flies, that's not gonna make a difference. But for a line drive home run hitter, line drives aren't generally hit as high up. So I wonder if that could possibly make a difference. I might just be completely overthinking it, but
yeah, I was also thinking, I'm like, I mean, it's not like they're making a green monster, It's taller than what we had this year, but I still think it'll still work out. And going back to his projected stats, I think he can do it. Also, just being at that caliber, like you should be able to put up those numbers, right? And it's like with the season where he had 48 home runs, we were expecting we weren't expecting him to hit like 57 the next year, right? But it's like he also like underperformed last year, in my opinion, right? It's like we expected what his projected stats are for this year last season. So I'm hoping that it was really just last year was an off season and this year he steps it out, especially with the new stadium. But
I think it's like so crazy how we're saying he underperformed too, and yet his numbers were still very strong as well.
Yeah,
but I don't disagree. I think
started off slow.
Yeah, for what we expected, it's obviously like not as good. But you compare it to the rest of the league, and it's still better than the average
league.
Yeah.
Well, he also doesn't have Teo to protect him too, so he's got to take the offense and shoulder it this season. Because we don't know what Varsho's going to do. Mm-hmm. We don't know what Bo's going to do. Springer, Kiermaier, Jansen, Kirk. Like Kirk had a great season last year, but is he going to replicate that?
Yeah.
So Vladdy's got to shoulder the entire offense, I think. And not having the safety blanket in Teo, I think, is going to motivate him more, and he's going to get back to those MVP numbers.
Yeah, I think that's a very good take because I mean obviously him and Teo were the main like RBI guys because Teo would usually hit fifth, right?
Yeah, he was fifth.
Yeah.
They had him fourth at one point, but it didn't work, so he was fifth. Like he was protection, right?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Any more Jays news? I can't. Did
Coochie get traded yet?
Fuck, I wish. Oh
yeah. One can only hope.
I'm going to call him that until he actually pitches well or he's not on this team.
I was going to say, like, we're going to hold on to these, look back, and the Coochie slander is going to be crazy and watch this guy be like a Cy Young.
Who knows? Maybe he'll hear the Going Yard podcast and get some motivation and have a Cy Young season.
I mean, Coochie, if you're listening to this or watching it,
come on the show.
Get us to call your name properly and
stop being a little bitch and pitch well.
Throw it down the pipe and just call it a night.
Oh man! All right.
Well, since we're talking pitchers, since we're talking pitchers, Nick, do you want to go through the next segment with those top rotations?
Yeah. So going into more broad general MLB, with some of the like moves that's happening around the MLB. Not gonna lie, did not pay too much close attention to the rotations like for this coming year. All I can really say is that I'm gonna still stick with like, in terms of good rotations, I'm gonna stick with like Philly, Atlanta, Seattle, the Jays. No, maybe you never know.
Actually, the Jays, that 1 through 4, man.
Yeah,
I have the Jays as one of my top ones in the league.
It's still not bad. Like, you know, you look at our rotation, we got probably at the 1 most likely Alek Manoah,
100%.
You got Gosman, and then apparently
Bassett.
But it was supposed to be Barrios over Bassett.
It's going to be Bassett.
It's going to be Bassett, but the thing I saw on MLB does still have Barrios as the number 3 guy. I think that's going to change, though, for sure.
They should switch it up. But Bassett, like we all said last episode, he's a different pitcher. Can't have guys that are similar. Like Barrios is more like Gosman, Manoah, not as slick. Same artillery. Or
he doesn't throw as hard as either of them. He throws the same as Manoah, I think, but Gosman definitely not.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's still similar. So why not have Manoah, Gosman, Bassett, who's completely has 10 to 20 different pitches?
Yeah.
And then go Barrios again. And then you have your leftover junk that's at your 5th spot until maybe Ryu comes back and saves the day.
Yeah. And also, again, we should probably throw out there that he doesn't actually have 10 pitches. We are exaggerating that number.
Okay.
But yeah, he probably, my guess is probably, I think he has 5. I should have looked up his arsenal. But yeah, it's probably, I think it's 5 or 6 that he's got.
I mean, having 6, that's still crazy, man. Like,
yeah,
if you're a hitter going up to the plate, it's like you have to think about 6 different pitches he's gonna throw. You know. But like Eric, I know you have your list too. Like, who do you think is the top rotation right now?
Yeah. So, I have both New York teams. So the Mets, obviously, with Verlander, Scherzer, Carlos Carrasco, David Peterson, Jose Quintana. They're definitely. I mean, Verlander just came off a Cy Young. The only things that I'm not going to say they're the number 1 is because, you know, most people would see Verlander, Scherzer and be like, oh my God, that's a guarantee, right? These guys are both pretty old. Again, I know Verlander did just win the Cy Young.
Yeah.
But, you know, who knows if that'll happen again. Scherzer is definitely not the same anymore. As Mo said in the last episode, this team's going to need Metamucil on their bench soon. Yeah, so I had them. I also put the Yankees with Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, Nestor Cortez. He was a really good signing for the Yankees. Nestor Cortez, Severino, and Frankie Montes. And I actually put the Brewers because of Brandon Woodruff and Corbin Burns. I didn't know this. They're the only pitching duo to be under a 3.0 ERA since the 2020 season. They're actually in one of the best pitching duos in the league. And then I have the Blue Jays, obviously Manoah, Gosman, Barrios, Bassett, and then I put Ryu instead of Coochie.
Hey man, like maybe, you know, we'll do some like reverse voodoo, you know. Maybe this is the start of the, you know, Coochie slander, and then who knows, you know. I'm hoping.
I have no faith in that fishy bastard.
So Mo, what do you have for yours?
My list is pretty much the same as yours. I've got the Yankees at the top. That Rodon signing, that was a thing of beauty.
Yeah.
I got the Mets, obviously the Metamucil team. Got the Jays in there. I got the Dodgers, actually. Even though Syndergaard isn't what he used to be, I think pitching in the 4th spot or the 5th spot is pretty damn good with Urias, Clayton Kershaw, Dustin May. Like, those guys are pretty good pitchers, too. And I got the Braves. Braves actually could have a 6-man rotation if they really wanted to with the guys they have.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my list, but I think those are the top dogs, top rotation right now.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. It is 6 pitches that Bassett has, by the way.
The 6? What are
they? Yeah. He's got the sinker, cutter, slider, curveball, fastball, changeup. 4-seam fastball, not 2-seam.
So dirty.
And he throws his sinker the most. Yeah, 33%
That's so dirty,
of his pitches are sinker.
Nick's in the shed over there.
Yeah, this is a crazy arsenal. He throws his slider and his curveball more than his fastball.
Okay, in the three spots.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because obviously, guys like Gausman and Manoah are more like, maybe not Manoah as much, but Gausman throws the fastball a ton. Manoah relies on it's his slider and his fastball are his like two pitches for sure. So to have a guy who's his fifth pitch is his fastball at the three spot,
that's insane. I mean, we saw it too with like the wild card series. I forgot the name. He was the starter, like the game 1 of Seattle.
It wasn't Robbie Ray. He was game 2, right?
Yeah, Robbie Ray was game 2. I forgot the starter's name for game 1. But the guy was throwing like sinkers at 101.
Oh my, yeah. I forget his name. I think he's like a Dominican guy. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, but like
I know who you're talking about.
To throw us, like even John Schneider said it too. Like the guy's throwing 101 miles per hour sinker. Like how are you supposed to hit that, man?
Yeah, it's like disgusting.
I've like developed a new respect for guys that can throw a sinker. Like before. Like what did I know, man? I was just in high school playing baseball, and you know all I could really throw was a fastball, slider, and a change that barely made it over the plate. I wasn't a pitcher. Just to let everyone know, I was a second baseman, and whenever we were getting blown out, and my coach didn't want to use our pitchers, he's like, Nick, just go out there and throw some meatballs, and that's it. Gave up 2 home runs in my career. You know that's not bad, but actually that's really bad, but.
Yeah. No, I agree. So
let's talk some Jays jerseys.
Yeah.
And the reason why I wanted to bring this up, there was a rumor going around. The Jays wanted to use that jersey behind me, which is the classic Dirty Blacks, as an alternate jersey this season. Now, I don't know if it's confirmed or not. Nothing is in stone. But I thought this would be a great take because everybody loves jerseys. And I want to know from I want to know from each of you, what are your favorite Jays jerseys of all time?
Yeah, so Nick, I mean, you might as well go because you basically said yours already.
You were like salivating, so.
Okay. I vouch for these black jerseys. Okay, and I know this is a hot take because a lot of Jays fans hate it.
That is a piss hot take.
Like they hate it.
I hate it.
Yeah, I can tell you hate it. Now, by all means, I'm not saying.
Are you talking like when you hold in your pee for so long and then you just let it fire and it burns?
The next day you've been drinking all night. It's dehydrated. Like it's warm, man.
See, like, okay, I'll give you okay. Obviously, me and Eric were not far off from age, but it's like we all kind of had the same, like different eras of jerseys, right? And
yeah.
For me, it was kind of like when I started watching the Jays was around this era. So to me, it was like the first thing that I ever knew. I don't know. It was just something about like, and a lot of people will say like, it's called Blue Jays for a reason, so it needs to be blue. Fair, right? I get that. I agree with that too. But it's like it was something different, you know. I would agree more. Like, yeah, it's a good alternate jersey. I agree on if it's Blue Jays, it should be blue. Like, I love the jerseys now. But I don't like. I just can't like see why people hate on it so much. You know, like
for me and Nick, I actually do like your mention of the fact that that's kind of when you and I would have kind of been growing up watching the Blue Jays. Because I even remember I had a Jose Bautista card that he's wearing that black jersey in. My first Blue Jays jersey ever, it was the white version of that jersey. For me, it's not about the fact that the jersey's black. I just don't like the logo, man. And I know that I've told you guys both that I did that Jays camp that was run by like a bunch of ex-Jays players like Cito Gaston, Alomar, and I brought in a hat that had that logo on it for them to sign. And Cito Gaston was like, we hated this logo, man. Like they called it the Dirty Bird. and it's just like, you know, when I was younger, I didn't really care about it because that was the Jays logo that I knew.
Yeah.
And obviously, like when it went back to the more classic Blue Jay, I'm like, my God, man, like that logo is fucking ugly. Like So yeah, I don't know. Like I think that I do hate it more than I should, but yeah, I mean, don't know.
To continue on with your point, it's like, yeah, I see your point, and because I was kind of the same way too. Like when we went back to like the old school, but also like they made it a newer version. Like I love it now. I really love it now. I love the logo way better now. It's just, I don't know. I'm more of a sentimental guy where it's kind of like this is the first thing I knew, so it's kind of like that's why I just love it, right?
Yeah.
Do I like I said earlier, having it as an alternate? So down. Where I would rather have our normal jerseys as our like full-time jerseys, you know?
Of course,
they're not switching the current ones. There's no way. They're probably the best set of Jays jerseys. See, I'm the oldie of the group, so it's probably the best set of Jays jerseys I've seen. I started watching them during the World Series days, and actually the 90 what year was it? The 89 to 93 era jerseys were my favorite until they came out with the ones a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
that's what I grew up with. Those are pretty bomb. Like look them up. They're pretty mint, like basic, but it's classic. It's classic Jays. Going back to this jersey, I hate it. I don't hate it as much as Eric does, but I agree with him. I hate the logo. The logo is disgusting. It's not what the Blue Jays represent. I don't mind the black as something different, but I can't stand the logo. And I made a list. So that was my number 5. The inaugural road uniforms. Like none of us were born during this time, but this is in 1977. Look those up. Those are pretty prime. There's the logo is something different.
Oh, Mo, I'm sorry. I'm seeing the 93 ones right now. Yeah, of course. That's an iconic one.
Yeah, like you can't go wrong with that. Like the Joe Carter or Robbie L.
Yeah, the Joe Carter one.
By Joe Carter, sure. And then like number 3, I have the royal blue alternates. So that's the 2012 to the present.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the World Series ones as number 2, and then the new baby blue alternates from 2020 to present.
Yeah, that's valid. Like I was looking back when I first discovered it, because this was just solely based on playing like MLB The Show. Also another topic we need to talk about maybe. But yeah, and then it was when I was a kid, I'd play like with the Jays, and then I saw that they had the old baby blue back in like I think it was the 70s, where it was like like from like top to bottom, like even the pants when they were baby blue. That's why I love that they brought it back, because I'm like, that was another sleeper too that I really loved.
Yeah, no, they're hot, man. I got a Bo Bichette baby blue current one. I got the Vladdy royal blue. I actually have a black one, but it's blank because I didn't care for anyone on the team at the time. But
oh yeah, that's another thing too. So the reason why I loved the black one is, like I said, I grew up watching it, and growing up, my favorite player was Vernon Wells. So it's no, man,
no,
go Vernon Wells. And then like I remember it wasn't my first Jays game, but like one of the first times where I fully remember the game, because I've been to a game when I was a kid, but wasn't too into it. But got a Vernon Wells black jersey, so that's why it's kind of like so sentimental to me, you know. Love the black.
And like special mention to, do you remember the logo where it's blue, but it's got the actual full Jays mascot on it,
and it's the T. It's got like the red T.
Yeah.
I loathe those jerseys. I hate them.
I don't like them either.
That's the Carlos Delgado era, and I feel bad because Carlos Delgado was a thing of beauty, and that team is garbage when they had Sean Green and Alex Gonzalez, and like Pat Hankett was cool, and then they signed Roger Clemens, and he just took our money and won a Cy Young, and we did nothing with it. But those jerseys look like whale barf. Those suck.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that logo is dreadful, man. There was they did another one of the years where they did it was like the sleeveless over like the blue like long sleeves. I hate that style of uniform too.
Yeah, that was
I don't care what the color is, man. I've played teams in the States that do it, and they're disgusting in the bad way. Disgusting. Like I think that like Mo, we talked about it. Arizona had them.
Yeah,
back in the day. Hideous like uniforms ever. yeah, I could rant about that style of uniform and the fact that teams still do it to this day. Stop doing it. Like it doesn't look good, man. It doesn't. Like
I know what you mean. Like there's a lot of teams in like the US, they'll do that, and it's like, oh my god, man, what? It's so ugly.
Yeah, it's terrible, man.
So
for my favorite jersey, I like looked it up because obviously I was born in 2000, so I don't really know a lot of the jerseys before that. My favorite one was the 94 home jersey, the white one, and this was the year that it was the 125th anniversary of the MLB, so they have like a nice patch on the sleeve as well. Yeah, the jerseys were like made by Wilson back then, I think is what it was. Something like that.
Yeah, it was Wilson. And first of all, you don't need to rub in your age. And second, yeah, Wilson jerseys were sweet.
Yeah.
Great detail, comfortable. I had a couple of Wilson, like in my baseball career, I had a couple of rep Wilson jerseys, and they were pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys actually knew this, but before the MLB signed the contract with the Nike, it was actually originally supposed to be Under Armour.
Snap.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Under Armour originally, and I don't know if they had backed out of the contract or if it just didn't end up going through at all. But I'm definitely happy that it went to Nike. I don't mind Under Armour, of course, but I think that Nike overall makes nicer looking uniforms for, like, you know, you look at college sports and see the schools, all that. I think that Nike's always going to make the nicer uniforms.
No, I agree with that. With like, I don't know, it's just something about like the Nike swoosh. It just goes with everything, man. Hockey, I don't know, but
not
hockey.
Hockey's
but
its own entity.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as the MLB switched to Nike, I was like, I'm getting a Vladdy like Nike jersey.
Yeah. Which one do you have? The royal blue?
I have just a white one.
I got the royal blue.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Is it time to talk about the clown that just went off on Manoah?
Nick, I'm gonna let you take this.
Yeah, I was gonna say I might just let you take this one.
The floor, please.
Dude, it's just like it's all these like American analysts that just are just mad, in my opinion, are just, you know, like
I know you're 100% right. Yeah.
Like, why are you mad for? Like Anthony Recker, this
you know why he's mad.
Clown.
Did you look up his stats?
Oh my, yeah. He was a bum in the MLB.
Hey man, I have it here. If we want to talk about it, this bum is talking about, oh, Manoah needs to lose weight because he's mad that he's tearing up the Yankees. Shout out to all the Yankee fans. Fucking fuck you. Like basically, like his WAR was 1.5. He had 552 ABs, 110 hits, and 18 home runs his whole career.
I think it was like, what, 7 seasons he played?
7 seasons. And then it's like, this is what you get for playing with the Diamondbacks, first of all. Okay.
He was a backup catcher.
Exactly. And it's like, you're talking about, you're working for like the MLB Network. Okay. He said this on the MLB Network.
Yeah.
And like, it's like people forgot about CC Sabathia, Bartolo Colon, the GOAT. You know, like, why weren't you complaining about that? They probably could have, but it's like, you're slandering a guy that had Cy Young numbers, and he's a pitcher, for crying out loud. I don't see him running the bases, you know? And even if he's in the National League, what, he's going to bunt to sacrifice.
Well, they're not even doing that in the National League anymore.
Oh, yeah, exactly, right?
They
so
got
it's
the
like
DH from last year.
I don't get why people, like I even was, like, on Instagram, and these fucking, like, bodybuilders were commenting. They're like, oh, well, it's true. He needs to lean. He's an athlete. And it's like, okay, buddy, clearly you never thrown a baseball. Okay. So chill on the roids.
They're just meatheads.
Exactly. And it's like, you're trying to be a fitfluencer that no one gives a shit about. And it's like, you're telling an athlete who's literally a Cy Young candidate.
And making more than they ever will.
Exactly.
It's just people who are butthurt.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. And it's like, again, this is just my take, and I could be totally just, you know, overthinking it, but it's just like, I just feel like a lot of American analysts just have something to say about like a Jays player that's good, you know?
Yeah, of course.
They're hating.
Could be wrong, but that's just how I feel. It's like and the guy's not even like overly like he's not even like overly overweight. It's like, he's not a Bartolo Colon, he's not a CC Sabathia. No. Not that I'm hating on those guys. It's like, but they were much noticeably where you would make those comments, but they still shoved at the end of the day, you know?
Yeah. Sorry, I got to read out because Stroman ended up coming to Manoah's aid and tweeted at Recker.
Oh, he did?
I missed And I don't know about you guys. I miss Stroman.
He said, "What a clown you are, at Anthony Recker. Poo-poo take from a bum. A nobody who has accomplished nothing in life. Keep your mouth shut and stop talking down on players. Alek Manoah is one of the best pitchers in baseball. You talk on TV for a living because your game was trash."
I didn't even know he said that. I
didn't know Stroman. Yeah, I didn't know Stroman came to his aid.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I saw it earlier. Yeah,
makes me want to. Actually, I just might go get a Jay Stroman jersey.
Might have to.
Dude, I love Stroman. I love Stroman. I had nothing against him. I loved him.
But that's crazy. Like when I saw that and I sent you guys, well, you mentioned it last night, Nick. Mm-hmm. You're like, I'm gonna roast this clown. Like, please do. And then Manoah's answer to or response to it, thing of beauty. Like Manoah he's just something about him that you just want to cheer for him and you want to be on his side. And he defies everything. Like you don't have to be fit to be a pitcher. You just have to pitch well, and that's what he does.
No, 100%.
He's young,
100%. And again, it's not like this guy's concerningly large. Sabathia was like 270 for God's sake. Bartolo was probably heavier, and again, like
Bartolo's at least 3 something,
and still the GOAT.
But exactly, like I was never even making comments on their weight because at the end of the day, if they're good at what they're doing, who cares? Like nobody would ever comment on, and I guess it's different for a hitter, but nobody was, chatting shit about David Ortiz's size. Like baseball has changed hugely in that sense that you don't see like overweight guys anymore. You don't. Like back in the day, there was the whole stigma of baseball players are fat and out of shape. And to some degree, I guess that kind of was back in the day. It's definitely not like that now. But you have guys like Manoah, who I wouldn't even really like call fat. He's chunky. But he's
husky. He's a husky.
Yeah, he's husky. Yeah, he's not.
At the end of the day, he's still in better shape than probably 99% of people on the planet.
Yeah.
He's more in shape than fucking Anthony Recker. Like, the fuck? Like, I don't know, man. Like, when I see that type of shit, it's like, and then he made it seem like he's like, oh, like Manoah, like I love you, but like hit the gym one time, but I love you. It's like
his response to Manoah was a joke. Like he dug himself more of a hole. Is all.
It's like it took it out of context. So why did you say in the first place?
Yeah, I took out of context being called fat. Okay,
you called him fat. You called him out of shape, and you're a nobody. This is the thing. He has no credentials at all.
Literally, exactly.
You played 7 seasons and you were shit. You were dog shit. Just shut your mouth.
18 home runs in a span of 7 seasons.
Yeah.
And like I said, you're talking about a pitcher. The guy, you're not expecting him to run the bases, I don't know, man. It just rubbed me the wrong way. That's why I need to let off some steam here.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. Like that ruffled my feathers too. Just hearing it, reading it. Just like typical, like you guys said, typical Americans.
It's just unprofessional in general as well, right? Like, you can go ahead and I guess say that on maybe your social media or something, but to actually say it on MLB Network, like, come on, man. Again, obviously, like he shouldn't be saying it on his social medias either, but to be saying it on MLB Network, that's just, you got to be better than that. And of course, like he's not going to get punished for it. Like, he's not going to, but
he got them ratings, right? So
yeah, at the end of the day, it brought in views, but it's unprofessional and he doesn't deserve to be fired. I think that would obviously be too harsh, but I think that there should be some sort of like, maybe a warning or something. You can't just go around calling these guys fat. Like,
yeah, no, I don't know. Like it's
you know what I think should happen. Put your money where your mouth is. Let Manoah pitch to you, and see if you can hit off him.
Me personally, like I'm drilling him in the rib cage.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, man.
Yeah,
that's why he'll never say yes to it.
No.
Changing the topic, we'll just discuss one more thing here. Like going to the MLB Network, I did see something as well. Like Matt Vasgersian and another guy, I forgot his name, but they were projecting the Jays' like they're just projecting their season for this year, and they said that they think that the Jays are going to be a 95+ win team.
I've seen things that are saying the Jays are going to go to the World Series this year.
Yeah, that's true too.
So I
just wanted to know, like, do you guys agree with that or not?
I think they can be in. Was it 95?
So they said that they think they're going to be a 95+ win team, which
they won what, 91 this year?
Yeah, last season wasn't it? 91 when they won the.
Wasn't it more this year? Or no? Oh no, it was less actually.
Stay stats guy, get on that.
Yeah,
but like, yeah, but 95+ wins that's a lot of wins.
I don't think it'll be plus. I think they could win up to 95.
They had 92 last season, 2022.
So
they went up one, or was it up one or more?
No, they won 92.
They won 92.
So they can. That's 3 more. Basically,
no, I know, but I'm talking about from like the last season.
Oh, from 2021.
Yeah, was it like they got 91 and then what? This year was 92. So like
this year was 92. Yeah, and then 21. They won. Yeah, 91.
91.
This team is good. It's not a team that's bad. They have the pitching. They have the hitting. The X factor is the bullpen. What can the bullpen do? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Can the bullpen sustain? Are they going to be the reason this team falls, or are they going to be part of the solution and help this team win? So that's the X factor. If the bullpen's on point, this team is scary.
Can the bullpen just do their job and save a game? That's literally it.
They have to do. And then they're honestly where the Yankees are, if that bullpen can actually do their job.
Ooh, man. If Yankee fans watch this, they might start crying, and they might start getting at you for that.
Yeah.
Yankees fans can kiss the fattest part of my ass.
Yeah, literally.
Should we wrap it?
This is gonna be it for episode 2 of the Going Yard Pod. Honestly, we're getting closer to spring training, and we're gonna hopefully be pumping out more content, more episodes for you during spring training. Just little follow-ups on especially the new guys, and see where this team goes. But for now, this is going to be it. Anthony Recker, fuck you. You're a clown. Marcus Stroman, you're the GOAT. I miss you. And this is it, man. We'll see you guys in the next episode.
See you next time.